All right, let's talk about wide receiver recruiting. And a couple of targets have committed elsewhere. So give us the scoop.
Yeah, let's just kind of run through this wide receiver board for Notre Dame. So, all right, let's get ready here. Mike Singer monologue. But Notre Dame had two of their top wide receiver targets in the 2026 class commit to Clemson. Clemson went on an absolute heater over the weekend, Darren, landing several new commitments. So, yeah, one, two, three, four, five commitments for the Tigers. So, yeah, Clemson signed the number 23 class in the 2026 cycle. Currently, it's very early, the number 7 class. But Naeem Burrows is one of them. He had included Notre Dame in his top 6, but I mean, for this kind of borderline 5-star talent from Jacksonville, which is not a hotbed for Notre Dame recruiting, I thought Notre Dame was a long shot. Kind of stings. Notre Dame was never even able to get him on campus, but he liked Notre Dame a good bit. This one definitely stung, Darren. Connor Salmon, wide receiver we've talked about a ton, a speedster from Virginia, number 164 overall player, number 27 wideout, according to the on-3 industry ranking. He committed to Clemson. His top 3 unofficially was Notre Dame, Penn State, and Clemson. I actually thought that was his order as well. I thought Notre Dame was at the top, but it was very tight between the 3 schools. Clemson, Darren, is one of those programs that is similar to Notre Dame in the sense that you can go there and you can fall in love with the school quickly. Like there's just, something about Notre Dame. If you know Notre Dame, you just do. If you don't, no explanation will suffice. Clemson has its own kind of aura about it that's similar to Notre Dame. I don't know. There's just the way Dabo does things there in Clemson. I'll just kind of leave it at that. I've always just kind of had that thought that Notre Dame and Clemson have some similarity. So Salmon, it's a hit to Notre Dame's wide receiver board. Burrows, never thought he was coming to Notre Dame, but Salmon did. I actually logged a prediction last August for him to land with the Irish. We've talked about him regularly in this conversation that we do weekly, Darren. So where does Notre Dame stand with their wide receiver board? Let's kind of just run through this. Dylan Faison has been committed to Notre Dame for quite some time. Actually, it was he got his offer from Notre Dame the day after Pot of Gold Day last year. So he picked up his offer on Pot of Gold Day and then commits to the Fighting Irish and actually wrote a story this morning. Dylan Faison update. Will the Notre Dame wide receiver commit visit any other schools? I would love for you guys to go to blueandgold.com and read this article, but I will kind of give it away. The answer to that headline is no. USC and Florida had been discussed as potential visit destinations for him, according to 24/7 Sports. Faison told me, no, he's not taking that. Any trips, he's going to take his official to Notre Dame. He's going to be done. He committed to Notre Dame. He had no other offers. It was just Notre Dame. He was the lacrosse 5-star recruit and all these things, and he didn't really get discovered by other programs as a football recruit until after he was already committed to Notre Dame. So I think there was like hey, do I maybe want to go visit some other schools because I did commit so early? He shut that down. He's Dylan Faison, brother, of course, of Jordan Faison. I've heard that, for as good as Jordan is, Dylan might be better. So that's good to hear because brother's a pretty good prospect or a pretty good player himself. So I just want to kind of start there. It's Notre Dame's lone receiver commitment right now. So who's on the board? We got a handful of guys. Bubba Frazier, he's a recent offer, 5'10", 165 pounds, smaller guy, but dominated at an Under Armour camp recently in the Peach State. He's going to be visiting Notre Dame in the spring, as will Brody Keefe. We talked earlier about a 5-star defensive end who's visiting Notre Dame this spring. This is his teammate is Brody Keefe, 6'2", 185 pounds. Notre Dame will host him in March. Braden Robinson, 5'8", 155 pound, blazing fast from Red Oak, Texas. I think Notre Dame leads for him. I've got a bold prediction out for Kadon Finley from Aledo, Texas, a 4-star, number 16 receiver in the country, number 117 overall player, the son of former Texas tight end Jermichael Finley, and Mr. Finley went to Texas. So it's a battle for Notre Dame against alma mater, right? He's a legacy of Texas. Can they beat out the in-state school? I think yes, and I am told that Finley will be on campus soon, and was also in South Bend at the end of January. Zion Robinson, Mansfield, Texas, Notre Dame, looking to really get involved there. Mason James from Norman, Oklahoma, talk about going up against in-state U. Darren, we talked in an earlier segment about, hey, Notre Dame battling schools and like geographically can be a problem. Man, going into Norman, Oklahoma to try to beat out the Sooners for a prospect, that's difficult. But Mason James, Kyle Kelly reported, will be on campus this spring, so watch out for him. This is an interesting one, Darren. Trent Mosley, a double Notre Dame legacy. Both of his parents, played at Notre Dame. His father was a running back and receiver for the Fighting Irish, and his mother, Cindy, was a fantastic women's soccer player for Notre Dame. Won the Heisman equivalent, if I recall correctly, in women's soccer. Trent Mosley, though, is in USC's backyard, and it seems like USC is overtaken Notre Dame on his list. Something to watch, but far from over. Notre Dame's battling and looking to get him on campus for an official visit. Messiah Hampton from New York, Notre Dame recently offered, going to look to make a move for that. 4-star prospect and a couple others. Last one, Brian Williams. This is a recent offer from Notre Dame. How about this one, Darren? His quarterback is Noah Grubbs, the Irish's signal caller in the 2026 class, 6'4", 185 pounds. I talked to Williams a couple hours after his offer that he got last Thursday, just been swamped and haven't been able to write that up yet, but plan to very soon. If Notre Dame pushes for Brian Williams, you got to think that it's a good chance that he lands at Notre Dame. But Florida and Auburn also recently offered him, so he's really just blown up here in the past week. But I've seen Grubbs in person multiple times, and Brian Williams is someone who caught my eye as like a high potential guy. So not surprising that some big time programs are in the mix for him now.
Michael, let's close out this segment with an offer for an in-state 2027 player.
Yeah, got to throw this out here. So Pot of Gold is on St. Patrick's Day. And for those who are not familiar or need a refresher, this is the day of the year where it's annually on St. Patrick's Day. Notre Dame has been doing this for a few years now, where they will get things started in the 2020, or I should say the rising junior class. So current high school sophomores who will be going into their junior year in August, and Notre Dame will offer several dozen players. It's basically their way to just kick that class off. So going into, let's say, late last week, Notre Dame had offered 3 guys in the 2027 class. Here it is, 3. And on Pot of Gold Day, that'll go over 70, 80. Like, they're going to offer several dozen. Now, there's been a few guys who have reported Notre Dame offers, and one of them is Monshun Sales from Indianapolis, Lawrence North, a dominant school in the Hoosier State. Some of them kind of trickle out, like Notre Dame is kind of doing like, hey, we're offering you. Can you announce it on Pot of Gold Day? Sometimes that can get lost in translation, and the kids just kind of announce it now. It's happened a few of them. Sales is one of them. 6'3", 180 pounds. A true athlete. Notre Dame could see him at wide receiver or defensive back. He's the nation's number 27 overall player and the number 6 athlete, someone who just is a positionless player right now. So he's a borderline 5-star player. On3 has him as the number 20 overall player in the 2027 class. So Sales posted his offer a little bit early, but that's okay. We figured that Notre Dame will be a key contender for this Indianapolis-based prospect. So yeah, Notre Dame, when you have elite players from Indy, from Chicago, got to go after them. Notre Dame usually does, and they'll definitely be in the mix for Sales.